to the Illinois Digital Educator Alliance, the Northern Suburbs event. Glad everyone could make it. Today's on our agenda today, we do have some business that we need to conduct as an organization that we conduct every meeting we have. If you haven't ever joined us, we try to have at least 4 to 5 meetings a year. Please be on the lookout at ideaillinois.org for our events. If you have joined us, welcome again. Today, we'll be giving you some information about Google Drive, cleaning it up, SeeSaw, Google Classroom, and Gmail. You will have time for questions. And if you need to get to this document, which will also be sent, I will make sure that the office at Idea Illinois has it, and they all have your emails. They will send it to you because it has all the information. But if you would like to get to it, it's a bit.ly/idea go forth, because today is the 4th of May. So we thought we'd play a little bit with May the 4th be with you. Please remember, any bit.lys that you look at, it is case sensitive. I just wanted to give a shout out to all the teachers out there. This year has been challenging for all of us. So I thought it was appropriate with the 4th of May that you are Yoda, the best teacher ever. And I just want to say you have done a fabulous job. I am confident that this year you have grown a lot, and there's been a lot of challenges, but look on the positive side on how much you have learned. So I'd like to introduce our current board members. I am Karen Kimborowski. I am the president of the Northern Suburbs chapter. Angel is on here somewhere. Angel, can you?
Hi.
Okay. And Jason
Hello.
is our treasurer. Greg is our secretary.
Hi.
Julie is one of our MiniCon co-chairs. Bo Warmbold. Patricia cannot make it, but we do have Kirsten and Dane, members at large. With that being said, we've slated for next year, a slate for next year that I'm slating to be the president again. Angel's still the past president. Dane will go into the communication spot that we've created. Greg will continue being secretary. Tricia will be our events coordinator. Julie and Angel will be our MiniCon co-chairs. Bo, Charlene, and Kirsten will be members at large. Now, with that being said, just so everyone knows, in December, we are also going to be taking nominations again for our presidency, because we will be voting, officially voting in a larger capacity at the IdeaCon conference in February. So just so you know, that is coming up. Also, if you'd like to be a member at large and start getting involved with us, we'd love to have you. And I'm going to talk about that in a minute. We need to kind of take, it's going to be an official but not official little vote. But I'd like to just, all in favor for this new slate for next year, if you could put in the chat, yes. If you're against it, say no. Let's see if we have a give everybody a chance. All right. It's looking like it's a majority of a yes. So what can you do to get more involved? First of all, what can I do? You can assist with ideas for programming. We're always looking for ideas. Now, this year was a little bit strange, obviously, but next year might be different. Maybe we'll do some virtual, maybe we'll do some in person. Ooh, wouldn't that be fun? So we are always looking at people to assist us with some ideas for programming, assisting with organizing, assisting with presenting. Maybe you have something you'd like to present. We'd love to have you. Maybe you have some ideas or thoughts as to how to better serve you. You are our members. If you haven't become a member, please, it is free. Go to ideaillinois.org and sign up. Become a member at large on our board and come banter with us and talk with us and try to figure out what we're doing all the time. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. You can use the email northburbs@ideaillinois.org, and I'll be looking at that email. So again, if you haven't joined, please join ideaillinois.org. It is a wonderful organization. Not only do we have regional events, this is considered a regional event, but there are several events happening all the time. They have these Wednesday webinars that are fantastic. They have shared resources, professional development. You're eligible to apply for a mini grant, for a scholarship, maybe to go for professional development. And there's things that just come out of the blue. This summer, watch for the emails from IDEA. They're going to do another Summer Institute thing as well. So please watch out for that. If you've never seen their professional learning catalog, my suggestion is going out to their website and going to look at this professional learning catalog. They have opportunities for schools to bring IDEA in to do workshops with your teachers. So, if you don't have somebody who's doing that in your school and you'd like, to get that done for your school, it's a great way. You can always talk to IDEA Illinois. Amber and Lindsay, they're great to talk and get ideas for your schools. We have several different regionals. So I do know that you might not be part of the northern suburbs, and that's okay. Now that we're virtual, everybody can come, and even when we're not, you could always drive up. But these are all the regions we have. If you are not part of the northern suburbs and want to be connected to another region, please let me know and I can try to connect you with the other region. Regions are always looking for people to come and, as said, participate and help with all sorts of things. So we talked about, we had these Wednesday webinars. They also had these Illinois Ed Chats. And Amber, I know, does them on Monday. And Amber's here today. She's the director of IDEA. So, and then if you want, I think some of these education Twitter chats might not be there and happening anymore. You just kind of have to look on Twitter. You will get evaluation, a professional development hour, 1.5 for an hour and a half. And it will be on this slide. So you'll be able to come back and click it and ask for, fill out the evaluation and get your PD hours. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Angel, who's going to start with cleaning up Google Drive. And I'm going to stop sharing so Angel can take over.
All right, sounds good. All right. All right, hello everyone. So I'm going to be talking about cleaning up your Google Drive. So if yours looks anything like mine, throughout the year, you are just constantly creating stuff and building, and sometimes you're not putting things in folders, and some of those things you used once, it's untitled, so it's just kind of like a big mess, a big junk drawer. And, towards the end of the year, you might want to clean it up. You want to store things that you might want to use next year. If you're leaving the district, going to a new position, new district, there's also a way to export all of your files and put them into maybe your personal files, personal Google Drive. So I'm going to be going over some of that. Some of these things we do, some of the things that I'll point out today, you might not even see, or you're like, oh, I forgot about that. So I'm going to go over a few of those things. And then what I'm going to do is I'll show my district drive, and how you can move folders, how you can move files, and some of the things to remember when I was going through and creating this. I was like, oh wait, yeah, those shared files. I need to look in those. There's some important stuff in there that I might want to keep that maybe someone might trash or someone might. So making a copy of those. So I'll talk about those things as we go through. So right off the bat, I have two things I want to talk about before we go into cleaning up our drive that are going to help us. These two skills will definitely help us in finding those files that you want to keep or store in certain folders. So the first one that I have is our advanced search. So I know I'm not in present mode here. Let me. Oh, there we go. All right. So the first slide that I have here is advanced search. So we all have our search bar at the top of our Google Drive. But if you click on the caret next to it, you're going to get to this advanced window. And I wanted to point out three specific things within it that could really help you organize some of your files throughout the year and at the end of the year. So right off the bat, at the very top of the advanced search window, you can search for the type of files. So let's say that you want to clear out some of your PDFs, some of your photos and images, some of your videos. You can be very specific with what you're searching. You can also search for who's the owner. There might be some files that are in your Google Drive that are not owned by you. So you can go ahead and look through things that are in your drive that are owned by someone else or a specific person. And that could really help you in knowing what you want to make a copy of, so that you do keep it. And then your last one here at the very top that I put down is the location. So it could be anywhere in the drive, it could be in your drive or in your shared with me. And I'll talk a little bit more about the shared with me. So it's really, the search bar is a great thing to use. I use it all the time. My Google Drive, you'll see in a minute, there are files everywhere. So if you go ahead and search, math, you're going to see everything that's kind of associated with math or a word that might be in those files. So let me go ahead and pull up my Google Drive just so you can see. All
While
right.
you're doing that, Angel, we've got a couple of questions rolling in here.
Yeah. Mhm.
One was, if I delete someone else's file, do they still have a copy?
They will still have a copy. It depends on because if you're not the owner of it. So let's say that you are the owner of it and you shared it with someone and you delete it, then it's lost for them. But if it's owned by someone else and you delete it, it's deleted from your drive. It's not deleted from their account.
And then the other one is there some clever workaround to dealing with Google Drive creating shortcuts instead of moving files when moving more than one file you own?
So create a shortcut within
So you can't
Google
batch
Drive.
move things anymore. So if I wanted
Yeah.
to move like 10 files I owned into a folder nicely, since that change in September, they took away your Command Z. And I have tried every way I can think of to trick that system. Do any of you brilliant minds have an idea?
When creating this, I found that I could move maybe 4 or 5 at a time, and then it wouldn't create the shortcut, the smaller amount. But I don't know if anybody in the group,
I haven't even noticed that's been happening. I got to check that now. That's
It's
Yeah.
a nightmare when
frustrating.
you try to move a bunch of files.
Yeah, so when you move, before in the past, you were able to select all of the files here, and
Right.
you can move them all. But what's happening now is it's creating shortcuts and putting the shortcuts in the folder,
I
and
thought it was
it's
supposed to
still
do that
leaving
only
the
if you
folders
weren't.
out in your drive as a view. So, but that's something to keep note of. If anybody does find a workaround for that, please share with the group. But yeah, I encountered that as well as I was cleaning up some of my drive. So I want to just go over the search at the top, and I had an image there in the presentation, but it's just a great tool to, if, for example, videos, if I want to search all of my videos, I can just search for the type and I could see all of the videos that I have. So here I have different videos that we've created, pumpkin, rubber bands. So all of this, if I want to put them all in one, I would slowly drag them over and I can drop them into one of my different folders that I have. So take a look there at the search bar. It's, like I said, great tool to use, especially as you build up your files throughout the year or years. It's just something to really use.
Angel, there's another question there regarding deleting files. The question is, what if there's more than one owner?
I thought that, well, from what I've been noticing, there's only one. You can transfer ownership to someone else, but there's always one owner, and then everybody else, you can make them an editor. If I'm wrong, please let me know, but I believe that was the case. That's what I've thought for years. So if I transfer ownership of my presentation, I wouldn't be the owner anymore. So,
And other people are
I-
agreeing with you in the chat.
yeah, okay.
I just moved like 30 untitled projects
Mhm.
because that's what you have in your Google Drive to a folder, and they did not make a
A shortcut.
a shortcut. I'm wondering if the shortcut happens because you don't own them.
That's what I was wondering. I thought the shortcuts were for files that you don't own, might be owned by a shared drive, or
You too.
The shortcut I noticed more when I was moving folders. So if I
okay.
grab a bunch of folders here, for example, these
Interesting.
folders here, and I put them into my Franklin folder here,
Is there any chance there's one file
says
in that
adding-
folder that's owned by somebody else, and that's what's causing the?
it could be. It says adding 11 shortcuts, and they were right here. There were 11 folders. So those are 11 shortcuts that were added to that folder. They still stay out here, but if I go into my Franklin folder, they're going to be in there as shortcuts.
I wonder if all it takes is one file in that folder to not be yours for that to happen.
I wonder too.
Because I'm
And that's
moving a
something that I can
few.
look up and see and investigate a
Yeah,
little bit
I'll
more.
do some Googling too, see if I can figure out.
All right, and then
That's odd.
yeah, and the other thing that in order to kind of get yourself organized, so we have the search drive. You could search through it, and then the other thing is the view. I like having my folders at the top, and then seeing all my files here. So I like the grid view, so I can kind of see what's inside of those files, the loose files that I have. Or right here in the top right-hand corner, if you click on this icon, you can have a list view. So it's really your preference. I really like the grid view when I'm organizing my drive because I could see what's in it. And if I go ahead and see what's in it, I can go ahead and just grab it and I can drag it over on the left-hand side on your menu to what folder you want. And if you hold it on one of the folders, it'll open it up and it'll show any subfolders that are within those folders, and you can easily drop it. That's if you're doing one at a time, or if you're selecting using the shift key, select the first one and then the last one. So you can do that and then drag them all over. But again, it's your preference, list view, grid view, and whatever you find easier to clean up and organize your drive. All right. So that was
Angel, with the movement, could
Mhm.
you highlight your folders and control click and say move to?
yeah. So let's do that.
Will that do a
So I'll
shortcut?
go ahead. Let's try it again. I'll try the same 11 that I just.
I think that's the telling, because when he right clicked there, it said add shortcut, not move.
Add shortcut to drive.
I'm having that happen with documents that I own. And same thing, when you try to select multiple, you don't have that move.
Let's
You
see.
only have shortcut.
So here's.
Are they in the shared drive though?
No, they're in my regular drive and I'm the
Oh,
owner.
that's
And it's happening in my
interesting.
personal and my school account. Because at first I thought it was a school domain thing the first time it happened.
And then
We'll keep
here,
looking.
here I see add shortcut, but then I have move to.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm. All right. So going back to the presentation here. So those two things are great to know just when you're organizing. And then the next thing I have is I have them numbered 1 through 4, but this can be done in any order that you want. And it, you know, Bo and I discussed some of this before creating the presentation. It really cleaning up your drive is not a one-time deal. It could really be done in chunks. So think of the next 4 things that I created. You could do those in chunks. You can create your folders first, then you could, you know, look at your shared one day and all of that. But I went ahead and numbered them just so so you could see the difference between the 2 skills, the 2, you know, items that I said to take note of that could help you organize. And then this is where you actually start to organize. So so for the first one here is folders. I think this is a great way to start. You know, create your archive folder, you know, archive folder 2020, and then put like a big throw up sign afterwards or something, since it's been that type of year. No, I'm just kidding. But it's, you know, create your archive 2020 folder. And then if you want to create subfolders within there, whether it's going to be student work, math, math assessments, anything that you've created that you might want to use next year or you want to just store, go ahead and create those folders, and go ahead and color code them if you would like as well. And if you've never color coded your folders, here, for example, I have an assignment folder here that I'm going to go ahead and highlight, and you can control click on it. You can go ahead and change the color, any color that you wish. So if you're going to have all your red folders could be ELA, all your blue folders math, data, things like that. All right. And then going back again, this could be where you might want to start instead of folders. But the next thing is trash. You can go ahead and start putting things in your trash. We have so many files within our Google Drive where we might have opened something up and then we closed it and it's untitled. You might have just typed one word in there. It's a great way to search for untitled, any unlinked form responses as well. So for example, you created a form, you had your results, you want to go ahead, you deleted that, you can go ahead and delete your responses as well. So so putting those in the trash and then emptying it out. And if you've never done that before, you can go ahead and click on your trash on the left-hand side menu here. So and then you could see items in the trash are deleted after 30 days. But if you want, you can go ahead. And as you can see here, just going back to the conversation we were having, these are all shortcuts that were created when I was trying to move folders into other folders. So so I went ahead and trashed them, and then you can empty out the trash when you're ready.
Good reminder in the chat, don't trash your classroom folder created by Google Classroom. I think there's an archive process for that is recommended.
Exactly. And I saw that later on in the presentation, we'll be talking about Classroom and what goes into Google Drive with that. So definitely that is definitely something to take note of. Another thing to look at is your videos and images. They take up a lot of space. Do you really need them? Are there quick videos that you used for a presentation that you don't need anymore? Are there videos that you took of your students, videos that they turned in through Google Classroom, things like that? So take a look at those and decide, are you going to trash them? So, and then one thing we talked about, and I put it here in red, don't trash if shared with someone and you want it to remain. So for example, if you shared a file with all of your instructional tech coaches, I'm an instructional tech coach in Park Ridge. If I shared a file with them that's being used by everyone and I deleted it, it's gone. So it's gone for them, depending on the location of it. So if it was in my drive, it's going to be gone. So take note of that. And again, through your search bar, you can search things that are owned by you, things that are owned by someone else. And then we get to shared and public files. So one of the things, we always look at our own drive, and for example, here we always mainly look at our own drive and see what's in it. But we do the shared with me, and I call this the junk folder. This is what everybody shares with you as you're going through. These are some things that I've in a folder maybe that was shared with me and people are constantly updating and things like that. Now, here's where it's important to look through. If there's anything in here in your shared drive that you want to keep that maybe is owned by someone else and you want to make sure that you have a copy of, you can easily grab it and you can do a control click and make a copy for yourself. And what that's going to do is automatically make a copy of it and put it directly in your drive. And you'll find it as a loose document file in your drive underneath all of your folders. So yeah, definitely take note of that. Another way that you could do it is you can click and highlight the file, and then in the upper right hand corner, you are going to see the 3 dots and you can make a copy. Again, control click, a right click will also pop that menu up and you can go ahead and make a copy of those. So those are very important. You know, in the past, there's been files that were shared with me and I go back and look and, oh, where was that file that we used last year? Well, that person might have thrown it in the trash, deleted it, and there's nowhere to find that. So take note of that. And then I added here just a short video of dragging your remaining files, and that's something that you probably noticed that when we were moving around here. You can easily just drag it, go over to your drive, and open up these files, and then just pop them in. So any files that you have that you want to go ahead and drag and put in a folder, just pick them up, drag them, put them in a folder. So those were the remaining files. Now, the last thing that I wanted to go over is just let's say that you're leaving the district or you're moving on to a new career, new position. But you want to keep your files. Google lets you transfer those files from one Google account to another. So you can do that, and I'll show you in a second how you can do that. But the one thing to take note of is make sure that you have enough space in that new Google account that you have, whether it's a new account or a private account. Again, you know, if you have a private account, you can pay for more storage if you'd like. But again, take note, and let me go ahead and show you. So, for example, here I have 59 gigabytes that I have used. I probably don't have enough space in my personal account to move everything over. Now, there are different things that you can do. You can, if you want just one specific folder, you can grab it, click download, it'll download to your computer. You can save it onto your computer. But if you want to transfer it over to another Google account, through your education account, if you click on your account in the top right-hand corner and click on Manage Your Google Account, it's going to take you to your settings here for your Google account. And the first window here, Start a Transfer. And when you click on it, it's going to ask you to fill out the information. Where do you want it to go? Verify the destination and select the content to copy and transfer. So you could select what specifically you want to go over there. All right. I haven't really tried it. I don't know if anybody on the board or anybody has tried this before. I haven't in the past. I've just kind of downloaded different files that I wanted onto my computer, and then I put them into either my personal drive or if I'm in a new district, I'll put it into that drive. Okay. And as you can see here, so I just have a few images here. All right. And
Meantime, there are a couple suggestions in the chat. One is to use emojis in your folder names.
yeah,
And there's a site given as a suggestion, emojicopy.com. There's a link to a Google Workspace blog. And then there's a suggestion to start decluttering, start by searching for files called Untitled, because you can probably get rid of a lot of those.
yeah, definitely. Those untitled ones, you know, again, you quickly go ahead and create something, you know, within the moment, and then you just kind of close it out. And those are always there. And yes, definitely the Untitled. So if you go back here, Untitled, search for Untitled, and you'll find a lot of those files. So, all right. And I'm gonna go ahead and stop sharing. If you have any questions after this, please let me know, and you know, or you know, the board, and we'll find some answers for you. All right.
All right. I'm going to share, and we're going to go to SeeSaw, which I think is going to be quick. I think SeeSaw is a quick one. Let me share my screen. Do you guys see that as SeeSaw?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Great.
Angel, we have one more quick question. If you use the transfer content option, do the files remain in the original account?
Transfer. So I use takeout. When you're trying to get them all out of your Google account, I use takeout. I haven't used transfer, but know that I think either one, you have to be the owner. It's not going to take anything that you don't own.
That is true.
So if you want to take out or transfer anything to another personal account or anything, you need to make sure you own it. So you have to go through and make copies of everything. It is a royal pain, but that is the only way you can do it. The other thing, if you're going to do a takeout or if you're going to do a transfer, be careful. And we're going to talk about this. It's going to transfer any of your Google Classroom stuff that you might not have returned to the kids. So we'll talk about that in the Google Classroom section.
Good foreshadowing.
Thank you. So that's what happens with Google Takeout and Google Transfer. Anybody have questions on that? We actually have our 8th graders, when they leave our district, do Google Takeout.
And
If
when
they
our
want.
seniors graduate, we recommend Google Transfer and have them take things to their personal Google account.
Anybody have questions on that? Any other questions about Google Drive? All right. So let's get to SeeSaw.
All right.
All you, Mrs. Innes.
All right. So I was asked to talk about SeeSaw. Full disclosure, this is only our second year using SeeSaw, and last year doesn't count. And I don't know about this year counting. We have so much stuff that's been going on. So when I was looking in the past, all I did was click that archive button and move on because there wasn't that much in there. Ding, beep. So when I was looking at what to do, Karen, beep. There you go. When I was looking at what to do, it just seemed like there has to be more than just clicking that archive button. So if you are a SeeSaw for Schools account, the administrator will archive all of your classes. Probably want to talk about when that's going to happen. If you're a free SeeSaw, then you want to get together probably with your team of users, whoever is the end user, and decide what date to archive. So you're all doing that together. Just kind of a little bit more cohesion there. And either way, you do want to let parents know when you're archiving to give them a heads up. So if they want to download their journals, they can, because once you archive, then they cannot get in there anymore. Teachers will not lose access to your archive classes. And it makes rostering a whole lot easier for next year if you archive the classes. You can unarchive the class, but when you do that, your students can get back in there again. So if you want to be playing over the summer or planning over the summer, go ahead and create like a practice class, a play class if you want to set things up. Obviously, you don't know who your students are or how they're going to join, but you don't want to unarchive that class you used last year and then all of a sudden have everyone back in there. The nice thing is that whether you archive your class or whatever you do with it, your activity library stays just as it is. So anything that you've created, doesn't matter if it's archived or not, all of your lesson activities stay the same. Beep. So at this website right here, the help.seesaw.me, they have the letters already written for you to send home to parents in several different languages. So if you want to let them archive their, or not, like download their journals, they can do that. Now, one thing that is really important is that you don't delete your class. If you go to delete your class, it actually prompts you again, are you sure you want to delete this class? And it comes up and it says, are you sure you want to delete it? Don't delete it, just archive it. So that way you still have access to everything that you need. And it's the same way as when you add students. I'm sure you've seen the archive button when you click on that wrench all the way down at the bottom, all the way at the bottom so you don't accidentally click it. It says archive. So it's really easy. And then when you make the mistake, because you're going to practice now, if you click on restore, you'll get it right back. And that's the same thing that you would do if for some reason you wanted to unarchive that class later. For those people who have the SeeSaw for Schools, you want to make sure that the administrator bulk archives all of the classes before any of you, for whatever reason, you might want to go archive your students, because you can only archive students that are not enrolled in a class. So that's something. So if you're trying to get rid of students out of your class, you don't want to do that. Okay. Just leave your students in your class and let your admin click on the archive button. I saw a question come up. If you transfer files from your district.
I was just replying to an earlier chat.
Okay. I was like, wait, I was like transferring files. So the thing, my biggest takeaway, because I kept feeling like there has to be more than just pushing that archive button. So when we get to Google Classroom, you'll see why I'm so hesitant with how easy it is to archive our SeeSaw classrooms that I actually messaged on Twitter, SeeSaw, and they replied to me on Sunday night, you guys. So their support is amazing. And the one thing they said is, organize your library, kind of like with your Google Drive. I don't know about your SeeSaw activity library, especially after this year. Mine is a complete and total mess. So just to organize your library, if you go into your plus button where you go to your assign your activities and go to your library, if you scroll all the way to the bottom of the screen in that little picture, you'll see that there's a little bar that says create a new collection. And if you haven't done this yet, I was like, because I'm the person whose Drive is not organized at all. But my SeeSaw library is now slowly getting organized by grade level, by theme, by topic, and it's making my life a little bit easier. So you can still add the activities from your library collection. You can add everything that you want to do, but it's a nice way to organize it. So if you really feel the need to do more than just click on that archive button, go ahead and organize your activity library. And that's pretty much it with SeeSaw.
The other thing that I thought about is the reason to archive and not delete is because if somebody comes back to you and says, hey, Johnny last year, or Johnny this year is really struggling with writing. How was his writing last year? You could actually go back into your archives and actually see his writing. So you would have artifacts for that. So that's also a nice way to think about it.
That's great. I'm always like delete, delete, delete. But then also going back and looking, well, what did I do? What did I do during this lesson? What did I do during this activity? Did I use that activity, or how did the kids react to that activity? Did they like it? What kind of feedback how did they perform on that activity? So that's the other reason why I recommend not deleting. But I like the artifact. That's really good. So that's all I got for SeeSaw.
All right, that's gonna come up. So I'm doing Google Classroom. This is honestly can be painful. Because I know, for example, I have teachers who right now they teach 6 different classes. They teach 6 different times per year. So now they have 36 classes to do this. So they are not going to be happy with me when I tell them what they are going to have to do at the end of the year. Just saying. So first, you want to save your artifacts. So go through your classrooms and look for student work you'd want to keep, that exemplary artifact, something that you want to show kids the next year. Oh, this was a great idea. I want to add it. Once you find that, you're going to want to make a copy and put it in your drive, because technically the kids should own it. And we're going to talk about that ownership. Okay. Now, do you have to go into Google Classroom? Oh, whoops. That is not what I wanted. That's why. Okay. I am going to have to stop for a minute sharing because I am sharing the wrong thing. So 1 minute, everybody. Technical snafus here. Go here and present here. And let's try this again from presenting. Sorry, everybody. Why isn't it letting me see that? Hold on. Let's go there. Okay.
Karen, is it because you had to sign into a different account?
I shouldn't. Wait, which one are you guys seeing? Oh, you're still seeing the wrong one. Hold on. Darn. Should be able to see this one. Okay. There. Okay. Sorry about that. So you're going to want, so you could either go through each of your classes. Now, if you look at my craziness, I have all these classes because everybody invites me to their classes. You could go into classwork, but a lot of people don't realize that you can actually click on this class drive folder and it'll take you straight to that assignment. So then you could dig down and see whose do you want to see? Whose do you want to make a copy and then move it over to your drive? This classroom folder is the folder that we talked about, never ever delete. Okay. So once you figure out any student work you want to keep, you may want to mark as reviewed and or grade everything. Now, hopefully by this time you've graded everything. Many people don't realize mine's not going to work, but because I have so many, this to review is a really nice feature because it gives you what could you review and what do you still need to grade. I'm not going to hit it because mine just spins because I have so many. Okay, so I don't want to get stuck in that loop. But check that out if you have not checked out that mark as review and grade. Sometimes the mark as review is good to use if you need to look at something. So it's a nice thing. Also, for the grades tab, many people don't realize that if I go to grades here, okay, I can actually go and edit right here, the assignment, if I wanted to. And I can return or view submission right here. And I could grade right within this grading feature. This is fairly new if you haven't checked it out. So I like kind of going from here instead of clicking in classwork. This is a lot less clicks than going into classwork. So what you are going to want to do, and this is going to be a task and a half if you haven't been doing it all year. You've been probably using Google Classroom all year, but have you been returning assignments all year? Not everybody does. You will want to return all assignments. Well, one of my colleagues asked me, well, Karen, why can't I just go in and delete, go in and delete this folder? The problem is you're the owner. The kids are not the owner if you do not return it. So down here at the bottom of this the presentation, I have ownership. If a student creates it, student owns it. Then the student hands it in. Then the teacher owns it. Teacher returns it. Then the student owns it again. So it's kind of the chain of command, if you will, of when things are being, I own it, you own it. Okay. You want to do it. Now, there is a couple different ways to return it. I just found this. This is like an aha moment for me. I don't know if everybody knew this, but in the grade section, if you click on the 3 dots, let me go to one that you can actually see it. If you click on the 3 dots, return all, you can go straight across at all of your assignments and just go 3 dots, return all, 3 dots, return all, 3 dots. Instead, I don't know if many of you were doing it the old-fashioned way. It used to be that we would go in, you had to view the assignment, click all the kids, and return it all. Oops. And click this return button. That is the old-fashioned way. And it is a lot more clicks because you had to click all students, return, next, also go into the next class. But if you go in through grades, it is much faster. This was my aha moment this year. Just saying.
Karen, I want to ask, is the point of returning the assignments so that students have ownership again, or what else? We just archive the class without returning the assignments? Okay,
we're going to talk about archiving, but if you don't return it, here's what's going to happen. Let's say you retire. You are going and you want to pull all your documents out, or you leave a district, or whatever, if you do a transfer or a takeout, you own all those documents. They're sitting in your Google Docs. You don't even realize it. Now, if you delete the folder, I suppose you wouldn't have it. And if you delete the folder, that's another way to do it. But here's the thing. Would the kids want that document? Because if the kids try to take it out, they can't transfer it to themselves. And technically, I don't know if those of you have been hearing SAPA, but we're talking about privacy and student data. It's their student data. So technically we should be returning it to them. It's just like that piece of paper we used to return majority of the time until May 20th, we stopped returning papers and they kind of just sat under your desk and you hope they went away. But we returned their papers. So this is returning their digital formats. Next question, Dane.
There's also a good, I think Dane saw the same thing I did. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say there's a suggestion that it would be nice to ask the student if you could keep a copy of their work before just making a copy.
That is true. That is true too. You should ask for permission. Good point. So deleting files, never delete the Google Classroom folder. We've talked about that. Now, Angel talked about it. I'm talking about it. You can delete the folders in that folder. However, if you keep the class, you will want to keep that folder. Like if you're still using the same class, which you probably aren't, you'll want to keep that folder. And deleting files may delete the owner's file. So just as we are talking about this whole thing, it's the same idea. Here's a kicker too that I just learned this year, and I didn't know this. Once you return all of the documents, I would then remove the students from your class. So go in, whoops, I keep going to the wrong place. Go into people, click on all of them, and say remove. Because of the next reason, archiving. If you don't remove the students, they still can get back to the archive classes. Just because you archive them, all that does is take it out of that list. It takes it out of that grid, those grids, and into the bottom, but you still can get to everything. So if you use things over and over again, or even if you tweak things, a test that was an essay test, you don't want the kids getting it. Now, granted, if they have the digital copy, that's another story too. So you have to think about all those. There's so many facets of it. Archive will allow you to reuse the assignments and files. So if you archive, it will allow you to archive a class. It is under the 3 lines and all the way down. It says archive class. Okay, that's where you find the archive class. So these lines mean that these classes are all archived, but I can still get in them. To archive a class, if you go to classes, I will archive this class because I opened it. I just hit archive. Okay, cause it to be an archive for all. It can't be modified by the teachers or students unless they restore it. And it remains in your Google Drive. So it kind of tells you what's going on. If you delete a class, if you totally delete a class, you cannot reuse the assignments, but the items will still be in Google Drive. So it's like they're still there, but you could bring them in again, but you can't use the assignment. Okay. So one suggestion is that you clean up the folder in Google Drive. Create a folder in your Google Drive that says 2020 GC Archive, and you can put all your classes in there. Leave the Google Classroom folder, but you could and then you could clean it up. So kind of along with Angel's cleanup, you could still clean up your Google Classroom, but not delete the overall arching classroom folder. The next thing I want to say is cleaning up your Google calendars. And this one people forget. If you use Google Calendar, you might be wondering, how do I get rid of these darn things? Remember, every Google Classroom connects to a Google Calendar. So in Google Calendar, and I'll just swing to my calendar. I don't think I have one. I don't. In my calendar, the 3 dots, I could hide it from the list. It'll hide it from this list, but it won't delete it. If you go to settings and sharing, and if you notice, these are all my calendars. There's a sub menu here and it says remove calendar. I could click that. It'll jump and I could hit delete. If you are a person who is a co-teacher and you did not make the classroom, you would want to unsubscribe. Because if you don't want to delete it for the other teacher, unsubscribe, that gets it out of your calendar world.
That can also go for any of those pesky team calendars if you switch teams, or building calendars if you switch buildings, or things of that nature.
Anybody have any questions before we move on to Gmail? All right, Jason, am I rolling or are you rolling?
No, you're rolling, so I don't share my email. And again, just imagine the challenge I have. I thought I was going to go first tonight, be this, the
Jason, before you break out with your joke, hold on.
Yeah.
There are a few.
Joke, you're just one?
There are a few other questions.
Oh, yeah, please.
Yeah. So to be clear, if I remove all the students from a class and then archive it,
they can't get to the class. Now, that doesn't mean they can't get to the assignments that might be in their classroom folder, if that makes any sense. But they wouldn't be able to open it up and look at assignments or anything like that.
And then Beth asked, she said she clicked on an assignment and it says missing. What did I do wrong?
No, missing. So if we're here, are you in grades, I'm assuming?
Beth, I don't know if you want to unmute.
Yeah, I'm in grades.
Okay, hold on. You're in grades. Hold on. Let me go to my test class because
actually I'm under student work.
So you're in classwork?
And
you're
right
going
now on the screen, I see instructions or student work. And then I have
so my suggestion is you go through grades up at the top. I think it's easier if you're going to clean up, if you're ready to clean up. Now
I was there first and then I saw everything that said missing.
So missing means the kids probably, like here, see, missing.
Yeah.
Meaning the kids did not hand it in. There's something to be handed in, or they didn't turn in the button. You know how you can just do turn in. So that's what that means.
So, but I can't delete or can't.
They didn't even turn it in. So there's nothing.
So there's nothing
there
to do.
Right. I would honestly, for example, this class, I'd go in and return all, just go across at the end of the year. Return. Now, if it's an essay test, you might not want to return it and you might want to delete it, even for the kids, because it's a test. So you have to kind of be mindful of that.
Okay.
But like watch a video. So, these 2 kids didn't watch a video. Well, that's probably nothing. There's probably no assignments really to return, but I'm going to hit return all anyway, because then I know that everything's done.
Okay.
That's how I would think of it.
Thank you.
The last question there is, how will people access the recording of this session?
I will work with Amber. I think we're going to end up, we might put a link on this because these slides will go out to you. So I will work with Amber on that.
Okay.
We'll
and
get it to you.
one new question. Would you encourage
Yeah.
students to delete their specific classroom folders within their drive?
Students, you know what? I don't, because first of all, students don't even really know it's there half the time. They have no concept. So I really don't, because our students have the space. Just so everybody knows, so it's not, don't kill the messenger. Google is changing their structure of space. It's gonna come. What that means for your district might mean something different than somebody else's district. Some districts are going to tell you to delete and go on a delete frenzy. Some districts are going to say we have enough space. Okay, it is all new to districts. But for kids, I think it's going to be fine. Google Docs don't take that much space. And I don't think it's necessary. If they do a takeout or they move things over, they just delete it, I've noticed. And kids sometimes want stuff.
Right.
So I just don't think it's a necessary activity you need to do with
One
the kids.
suggestion is that you might want students to delete it so they don't share it with future students. And that's probably why you suggested the test.
That's
the
a good
essay
idea.
test. And also, Amber did say that everyone registered for this event will get the recording and a copy of the slide presentation via a follow-up email tomorrow. Thank you, Amber.
Perfect. Thank you, Amber. Yeah, so actually that is a good point. I mean, cleaning up your drive is a good exercise for them. And then if a teacher wants, delete. But the question is, will every kid delete? Does every kid do every assignment? All right, now it's to Gmail.
Oh, is my mic on? Yeah. Hi, everybody. Yeah, I use Google Classroom quite a bit. I have 100 students in my class. So yeah, managing those files is a challenge. So yeah, keep those good questions coming. I've been really enjoying watching those. I'm Jason Meltzer. I've been teaching from home. That's why I have a picture of my computer lab so I can pretend I'm actually teaching from my classroom, at least for a few minutes this year. So I got Gmail, and so you can only imagine the challenge of finding a joke that works for Gmail and for May the 4th be with you, but I found one, so you're welcome. So next, contain your laughter. So just this great website, Hiver HQ, although they do have a product that they're trying to sell, I thought about this in my life this year as I talked to all the tech coaches, how much time we know not to check our email all the time, but we know that we need to check our email all the time. In a personal story, I was just visiting my mother who got mad at me because I kept checking my phone all the time. And I said, well, because the teachers in the classroom have a very challenging life and my job is to make it any bit easier that I can. So you have to check all the time, at least for this year. Anyway, I don't know about those 23 minutes to get back to focus, but it's a challenge. But they do have a great website that organizes some of these same steps. Jump in. Thank you. Here's some good memes you can always use. Go ahead. So I thought I was going to do my own self-standing presentation, so I left the overview here. So let's move on. And again, jump in with those questions. I can see them here. One, if you have a chance and you haven't really looked around your settings for the mail, remember there's two different options when you go to mail. It shows like the default settings, which I never need to see when you click on the gear, like the quick settings. I would never change any of those, except that on there now, as I'm looking at my own, you can switch to important first, unread first, and so on right from your quick setting, which I just didn't notice till right now. And there is some other options in there. Usually I go to see all settings, and you should definitely take a moment to explore in there. That might be a good thing to do during one of these many online Zoom faculty meetings to be productive, to look around and see what's going on there. My boss isn't here. So one of these things, I don't like markers. You might see an email with that little yellow marker, like a Best Buy marker that tries to guess if it's important to you. I turn that off under the settings. I believe that's under advanced. We'll get to show you some other advanced that I do like in a moment. Go ahead. So yeah, here in the other advanced, I do templates, which I'll talk about. I know it's not exactly organizing, but if it's about being lazy or cleaning up after yourself, templates was called something else. It disappeared and then it came back again recently. And so it really helped me out most recently. I don't use custom keyboard shortcuts, even though I'm left-handed. I live on the right side world. And so there's some other options that you should definitely explore. Go ahead. Okay, so probably the best thing you could do is do some sort of combination of label and organize and filter, whichever works for you. And so the first thing is when you're in your email, if you want to do something to it, you have to put the checkbox first. That's usually the step, like where's the move? Where's the flag? Where's the label? Make sure you have something checked in the first place. Then you'll see the organize and that other tab to, let me just double check what that's named. I'm looking at my mail for just a moment when I check. And come back, my little mail. There it goes. So that says labels. Yeah, I was making sure that that's labels and it wasn't the little Best Buy flag. And you see, I do have some labels here. I'm not the most organized role model for keeping your email organized. Go ahead, next slide. But I do have a few, and I do one quite a bit. So if you've never filtered, again, they don't want to call it folders, both here and in contacts, because you can have the same document in multiple filters. So I think that's why Google, I wasn't at the meeting at Google, but that's my guess, is they didn't want to call it folders because something can live in two places. So once you have an email checked, you can then filter message like these and make some changes and then create a filter, or it's the same as the search bar. So you could create a filter and then tell it what to do and actually go back in time, apply to all other matching conversations and do it that way. One of the best things that I love, it says skip the inbox or archive it. And one reason I'm using that this year is I do have that large class and I take attendance in post. I have a spreadsheet where I take the attendance that comes in from Google Meet. I don't want to see it every time I'm in a meet. And so I create a separate folder. Can you go back one? I think you can see it. I still called it a folder. Do I have it here? I thought maybe no. Yeah, Google Meeting attendance right there. Someone has their mic on. So go ahead. I was just making sure Google Meeting
Could everybody
attendance.
please mute themselves?
Yeah, someone's muting. So what I did was I created a filter saying if it says your attendance, please move it to the folder called attendance and skip the inbox. So it's not filling out my inbox, but when I'm ready to do the email, it's already, I can see it right there. It's bold on my left side and I can then do my copying and pasting and all my query and stuff to the attendance. So that's been very helpful. Questions about these options here or power uses? I'm reading the question here. Oh, so if you see Tasha's question, once you have the filter set up, you can go to the inbox setting and change the inbox type to priority inbox. Nice. Yeah, that's hidden inside the settings. You can use this filter to sort out the inbox. Yeah. Yeah, it's sort of three-dimensional, your email, of course. I don't know if you want to say just, isn't one of those just go right to the trash? Send it right to spam, I think. Yeah. Yeah, Tasha, great. Thank you. She wrote by the filter that you created. So yeah, you definitely want to take this time. And if you can do it right now if you want, look at your settings and see what you have right there. Go ahead, next slide. You could be a star organizer. And I learned something. I'm a little peculiar. I use the star all the time in my documents. Like in my Google Drive, I use that all the time to find stuff by starred, but I don't do it in the email, interestingly enough. But that option is still there that you can then do star. And if you go to the top part where it says drag the stars in between the lists, that's from your settings. You can decide if you only want one option, 1 star, 4 stars, or all stars. And then when you click on your email, where my handy assistant is clicking on the question mark on the slide, you were right there on the purple question mark, then it can scroll through right there. Yeah. So if you click there, it scrolls through the different options if you're hyper organized. And then if you know the name of it, you can search for it. So one is called Red Bang on the right side. So in the search bar, which I'll get to a little bit later, you can search by which one it is. I'm sure there's a better way to do it by creating a folder that has Red Bang. I'm sorry, a filter that has Red Bang maybe, but I haven't explored that. I'll tell you what I do in a minute. So again, depending on your email, I don't recommend deleting for any reason, but you do want to archive things so that if you would like to have a clean front desk every morning, then you can archive. So usually I check that box. I use primary, social, promotions, and forums. So I click on that box, primary, select everything, and just archive everything, usually by a certain day. So to know that when you archive, it's going to all mail, which if you scroll down where it says show more on the left side under your list, then you can always find it. And of course you can search for it. So again, that's my recommendation. Just keep archiving things so you can search for it later. Go ahead. I'll just say, and I just said it hinted of what before I get to templates, my strategy is just pick like January 1st and archive everything before that, or in social promotions forums, I just archive it quite often just so they look clean. And then my primary, I usually just take old things and archive it. Is there any reason not to? Are we going to run into
Yes.
file size issues?
Yes, because now with depending on the school district, what they're going to trash deletes after 30 days, correct?
Yeah. Archives remain forever, I believe.
Right. Archives remain forever, but what's going to happen is depending on your school district, what they're going to say in terms of space.
Yeah.
With this new space coming out. I'm not trying to scare anybody. Don't be scared. But school districts are going to take different approaches everywhere.
Yeah, Alan just put a link in the chat from Google, and I'm not our tech director, so I don't know what impact that will have and how it's being managed. So we'll all learn together. How to use email templates. Again, I just used it because I had to send an email saying your child has never attended my class after the first few weeks. So instead of, then I just personalized it afterwards. So if you go to your settings, turn on templates, then under the dots on the far right, you'll see templates, and it's pretty straightforward. You write your first email and then save it as a template, and then you can insert them later and you can delete it. The only caveat is, in my case, I have this goofy footer just for my entertainment. And so you want to make sure you delete it from your template, because when you write a new email, the footer will show up again as a normal email. So not a big deal. You'll just notice the first time you'll have 2 footers. And so it has saved me quite a bit of time. I'm afraid to do the one where it sends a template file automatically when an email comes in, like a vacation mail, but using some sort of hook to send a reply. I was showing my teachers, that's why it says, you are my new favorite student, like that was the sample. Okay, and I have a tutorial that I'm live and in action. One more slide, I think, or 2. Oh, just for me, for checking email, I love Checker Plus. It's free for the light version that I have. And what I love best is it has do not disturb. So during my class, I go do not disturb, set it for a half hour, and then it comes right back on again. So that's probably the other feature. It also dances up in my toolbar when new email comes in, and you can see a preview and so on. So that's, I'm sure there's others. He's written some other apps that you can see over there at Google Extensions that work, but this one I've used for many years. It doesn't get in the way. And again, I use one feature, but it works well. Okay, next slide. And then of course, Power Search. Ooh, I got to use something over again that's Star Wars related. The droids we were looking for. So if you can guess the year of that. So again, you can always search for anything's in there if you want to look for it. And here's some examples here. And if you go to that search operators list, it's so long I couldn't copy and paste it. But here's some examples: after, before, newer, and so on. And then combined search terms, if you look on that web page, then it shows how to combine them with ORs, just if you're really trying to filter down and get something very specific. It is possible to find specific things. So again, you can either organize it or know how to find it, depending on what you're looking for. If it's too hard to do one, then know that you can always do the other, and you pick which technique works for you. So I'm a person who says I can always find it, but most of the time. Any comments, improvements? Oh, one more slide, please. So there was some talk about what's the recommendation for unsubscribing to email to get yourself off those lists. I'm not sure. Just I know there's some spam stuff that I've read you don't always want to do it. And then I'm afraid to clear my contacts, and that's a whole nother game, I'm sure. So I'm someone who could be a new member at large. Their key in could be the expert on how to clean up all your contacts, because that's changed recently too. No peer pressure. So thank you again on behalf of the board here. We appreciate you joining us.